Hey there, I'm Kim Stevens with your Super Tuesday update. We're going to give you a brief overview of everything that is on the ballot here today. 16 states, including California and one territory, are voting today. Now, no candidate is going to secure the presidential nomination today. Former President Trump could next week, and President Biden could in 2 weeks. But let's take a look at voter turnout. Of course, we don't know what the voter turnout is yet for today, but let's take a look at what it was last time around. 44% in Fresno County, 44 also in Kings and Madera counties. And then also, as we move through to see Mariposa, pretty impressive, 69% voter turnout last time. Merced, 44%, and Tulare, 44%. Now, let's take a look at some of the measures that are on the ballot. And I'm going to stay really local here, especially for Fresno County voters, and we're going to take a look at Measure E. And that is the quarter-cent sales tax. It could raise $1.5 billion over 25 years. Failed 2 years ago. $500 million in maintenance fees is what the president of the University of Fresno State says is needed, but the money is not there. The CSU system cannot provide the money. California the state is in a deficit of more than $60 billion. The editorial board of Fresno State student-run newspaper, the Collegian, says that this lacks transparency. If you'd like to better understand the idea behind Measure E, you can go to our website, kmph.com, because we interviewed the man who wrote Measure E. You can find out a little bit more about his reasoning behind this. Here is one thing that President Saul Jimenez Sandoval has to say about Measure E.
Basis, I hold my breath and I say, am I going to get cuts from the budget or am I going to get an increase? If I get an increase like last year, what do? I save it because I know that there will be a budget coming up in the near future in which I will need these reserves.
All right, so that is what is going on with Measure E. Now, let's take a look. All right, I'm trying to move forward. Oh, I know why. There we go. Let's take a look at a few other measures. I am definitely multitasking here. We're going to take a look at a couple of other measures that are on the ballot today. And first off, we're taking a look at A. It is an amendment to the county's charter. It would require the election for the Fresno County Sheriff and the Fresno County District Attorney to be during years that we vote for the governor and not the presidential cycle. You may recall 2 years ago that Governor Newsom signed Assembly Bill 759, and it required counties to hold elections during presidential elections with the intent that that would mean that there was greater voter turnout during those times. Well, Measure A makes an exception for charter counties like Fresno. A simple majority is needed to pass. A simple majority also needed in Measure E, by the way, and that means 50% plus one vote. Now, let's take a look at Measure B. This is the Fresno County Board of Supervisors getting the power, or not, depending on how the vote goes, to change or to name or change the name of a location in the county. Now, this comes because of the debate over Yokuts Valley. A yes vote supports the authorization of the board to have that power, and a no vote, of course, keeps them from having that power. Here, a simple majority is also needed. Now, let's take a look at Measure O, and we see that this is in Orange Cove. It is for police and fire tax measure. If it is passed, the current tax on each parcel of property, that was passed back in 2021. It needs a 2/3 vote to pass. Measure G is in Fowler, and this is really dedicated to Fowler Unified. It's a bond measure that would bring about money to help with updating classrooms and technology and safety issues and disability access, fix old roofs, plumbing, heating, and air conditioning systems. A 55% is needed to pass on this. Now, let's take a look at Proposition 1. This is statewide. This is a mental aid and housing for the homeless. And Prop 1 renames and expands the Mental Health Services Act, which was passed all the way back in 2004. If this passes, Prop 1, it authorizes a 30-year, $6.5 billion bond to build mental health facilities for homeless people and veterans who are dealing with drug addiction and mental health issues. But it would also create an awful lot of jobs for the people who come here to help these veterans and homeless who are needing some assistance here. So that is Proposition 1. Now let's take a look at the different congressional districts throughout our state. And first off, we are going to start with District 13, and that is covering parts of, as you can see here, Fresno, Madera, Merced, San Joaquin, and Stanislaus counties. This is a rematch between John Duarte, the Republican, and Adam Gray, the Democrat. Duarte won back in 2022. It's the second closest, or it was the second closest race in the country, 50.2% to Gray's 49.9%. This is District 22, and this covers parts of Kern, Kings, and Tulare counties. It's considered one of the 4 most competitive races in our state. Back in 2022, Dems hold a 43 to 27% advantage over the GOP here. David Valadao, a Republican, holds this seat. Rudy Salas lost last time by 3,200 votes. That was back in 2022. Now we're taking a look at District 21. You see it right here on the map. And this is another rematch here as well. It's Jim Costa, the Democrat, up against Michael Mayer, who is the Republican. And Costa took this district in 2022 with 54% of the vote to Mayer's 46%. District 20, much bigger, you see here. It covers parts of Fresno, Kern, Kings, and Tulare counties, vacated by former House Speaker Kevin McCarthy, who left the House in December. So we've got 2 things going on with this district. First off, you've got today's election, which is the full 2-year term. And then on March 19th, you have the vote to fill the rest of his term. Now, the GOP in this large district holds 47% to 27% registration advantage in this district. District 5, this is also pretty expansive, you see here. It covers parts of Amador, Calaveras, El Dorado, Fresno, Madera, Mariposa, Stanislaus, and Tuolumne counties. It is a rematch. Tom McClintock, the Republican, versus Mike Barkley, the Democrat. McClintock won back in 2021 with 61% of the vote. But we are not done yet. There is still one more race to talk about, and that is the Senate race. And that is for Democrat Dianne Feinstein. She died back in September. There are 2 votes today, and one of them is to fill the remaining part of her term, and then the other is to fill her 6-year term. You have Democrats Adam Schiff, Katie Porter, and Barbara Lee running for this race. Also Republican Steve Garvey, you may remember him from years ago with the Los Angeles Dodgers. He has never held political office, but he is the Republican on the ticket. And a Republican has not won a Senate seat in California since 1988. Even if 2 Democrats end up getting the most votes in this primary day, they will face off in November. And so that is a roundup of a quick look at the elections and what is on your ballot for today. Of course, tonight on your Fox 26 News at 10, there will be a roundup of how the election numbers are coming in, if they all are not in by 10. And tomorrow morning, during all 5 hours of Great Day, we will also give you full coverage and a wrap up. Thanks a lot for joining us. Have a great day.